Good morning, everyone. I'm tired. Anyway, you know what day it is? It's Wednesday, which means we gonna get into this new episode of the summer. I turned pretty today. Um, this is episode 10. Let me double check here. Let me just double check. Because this is gonna be it, isn't it? Yep, season 3, episode 10. So the description says a year is a lifetime as Belly builds her new life in Paris. Back at home, Jeremiah tries to find his footing without her. And in California, Conrad still can't shake the thoughts of Belly. So it is another little time skip. So she is gonna be there for a year, I guess, before maybe, the letters start coming, or we'll see. We'll see. But I'm excited to get into it. That last episode was alright. But the last episode, like I said, last week, it was more of so like the aftermath of the whole wedding and basically how everybody is now feeling. And so now it looks like, we get to see Belly enjoy her life here in Paris and see what's going on with her now that she stayed. And we'll see what Jeremiah tries to go and do now that he's lost her, and see how Conrad gets back. And anyways, let's just get into it. So she's been there for 3 months, it says, or she says. It's Thanksgiving, so she is feeling real homesick. And even though she knows that everybody's kind of spread out this year and not eating Thanksgiving dinner together, so it's this whole day of we're seeing how she's not really getting the language down. She actually doing pretty good to me. I mean, I can't say that shit. But anyways, so she's been there 3 months. She's trying to practice her French. She's also going to online school. She has two jobs that pay her under the table, I guess. And she is sharing a apartment with some French people, some like three people, and they just seem like they ain't really fucking with her. And she's all happy in the kitchen trying to make stuffing. Um, it's not the same thing as dressing, is it? Looks like a bunch of bread. And but I'd be nice and I'd try it. I would try it. I'll try anything, damn near. Anyway, she tries to get everybody all day to try her stuffing, and everyone's like, "Girl, what you done did to this bread? We ain't eating that." So now she's coming back home after her second job, I guess. And Taylor said to call her. So let's see. Maybe she'll show up. We finally got the first letter. Okay, so um they they show Taylor and Belly having their call. Um So I guess Taylor and Steven have an apartment. They're doing Friendsgiving. Jeremiah's been staying with them. He's not doing so well. He has taken some classes online, but has not gone back to like the actual campus, I guess, at Finch. And so he's kind of bumming on just couch surfing through all his friends' houses and stuff. Um, no job, and although he does cook, I guess he cooked the whole Thanksgiving dinner. Taylor and Steven did the mashed potatoes, I guess, and then uh, when she's about to get off the phone with Belly, Belly says, "Well, tell Jeremiah I said hi." She looks in the kitchen and he's like making out with some girl, which pisses me off. Anyway, he's making out with some girl. Apparently, it's like one of their friends or one of their friends' girlfriends, or Lord knows, because so one guy, he gets real mad. He like walks in and he gets real mad about seeing them make out, I guess, and so he leaves and then she leaves, and Taylor's like, "Dude, you got to stop hooking up with like people that we know, because we just lost two people for dinner and you're making it worse." So, like I said, I knew he would find somebody else or multiple people to hook up with or whatever. The kids say hook up nowadays, and most of the time that just means that they've made out, which, okay, that's pretty modest, but back in my day, hooking up was like y'all fucking, So I don't know. Anyways, I'm confused on that. Looks like he's taken out his emotions on trying to sleep with people. I don't know. I don't know. But that's what he does. So, anyways, then his dad comes over, and then something about his friend said something. I was very confused on this part about the frat house. I guess he was couch surfing at the frat house. I don't know. So, his dad takes him into the room slash bathroom to talk. But we know bathrooms echo, right? They were trying to be quiet. I don't know. Anyways, so they get into it, because Jeremiah's like over it, and he's just like, what else have I done wrong in your eyes? Like, go ahead and tell me how bad of a person I am, how bad of a son I am. Like, you're always telling me something that I'm doing wrong. And so his dad is like, well, fuck it then. You're cut off. So I guess he's cut off. I don't know. So he can learn a lesson or whatever. And then for some reason, I guess Steven and Taylor are tired of him staying with them, which is kind of weird to me. I feel like they probably would be the ones to take him in the longest, seeing as they're so close. But they offer up to have him stay at Denise's place, because they're like the last four people that are there from this dinner, right? Their Friendsgiving dinner. So they offer for him to stay at Denise's house or place, apartment, whatever she has. And so she reluctantly agrees. I don't know. There wasn't much pushback on that decision. Okay, so that's that. Then I thought this part was very sweet. Conrad calls Laurel and John for Thanksgiving. And he goes, hey, happy Thanksgiving, guys, whatever. Looks like Laurel and John are um, back together, like officially or whatever. So, anyways, um, Conrad has the talk over the phone with Laurel, and he's like asking about everyone, and then he asks about Belly, and like asks her basically like for advice if she thinks that like she's ready to talk to him yet, because he was thinking about reaching out. She's like, you got to figure that out on your own. um she's staying there in Paris for the holidays, so it'll be a while. But then they agree to um see each other during Christmas. So now it goes back to Paris. So Belly receives the letter that, I guess, instead of calling her, he kind of reaches out through this letter. And Belly finally receives the letter, reads it. She's doing her little face, and then it's starting to show kind of scenes around Paris of like Christmas trees, and there's a Santa walking down the street. I got this paused on my TV. So but she did invite Taylor to come and spend New Year's with her. So that seems like a good time. And let's see what happens. So this seems like a long episode for some reason. Maybe because, they're trying to fit everything in. Because we only have one more episode after this, and then it's like the conclusion. So all right, so for Christmas, Belly spent her time with Benito, this like Latin guy who is, well, Latin, a Hispanic. I don't know, because the Spanish that he spoke was very, something on my screen, sorry. It was very, I don't want to say Mexican just because I'm Mexican, but it's like different Hispanics depending on which part of, like, I guess South America, I guess. They have different accents. Both both when they speak English, if they know English, or even when they speak Spanish, there's always like a little hint of where they're actually from. So all I'm saying is that he speaks very fluent Spanish. I don't know. It just seems like he's not like from Spain, if you know what I'm getting. Like, I don't think he's from Spain. Well, he's from London. I don't know. So anyway, so there's her new love interest, I guess, and so they spent all Christmas together. She was gonna spend it by herself, so I mean, whatever. Anyway, then they go back to Laurel's house, and they're getting Christmas dinner ready, and Jeremiah pulls up, and he just can't go in. He just feels like he's not ready. And then Conrad's there or whatever, so, and his dad, which, they just had a recent falling out, so that's all bad. So Laurel goes in the car with him, and she's like, I totally get it, and she's like, you don't have to come in if you not ready, if you're not comfortable. He apologizes for talking to her crazy after the wedding or whatever, and then says, well, can you take the presents in, and Oh, what did he make? Damn, I forgot what he. I just smoked, y'all. I'm sorry. I forgot what he made. Um, but he said, "Yeah, can you take the presents and the food inside and, just tell everybody Merry Christmas from me, but I just can't do it right now." So it was nice to see him have a little heart to heart. She sends him off, she's like, "Let me know when you get home." Um, then so now it's New Year's, and then Taylor shows up in Paris, and so her and Belly go shopping, and Benito actually joins them for a little while during this shopping trip, and then they are all having a party at Belly's like apartment, and all her friends have invited their friends, so it's just like one big old party for New Year's. And right before the countdown, apparently, a package comes, and um, it's from Conrad. Um, Conrad was in Cousins for a little bit, I guess, on his way down, right, for Christmas dinner, and so he stops by the house and grabs Junior Mint and sends him along with another letter, I believe, for New Year's. Yeah, so he sent that down to her. Taylor opens package, and well, I guess they kind of both opened it together in her room, and they're talking about it, and that's when Belly finally tells her, "Yeah, I mean, there's nothing going on. They're not like love letters or anything like that. We're just friends." And yeah, so we just been writing each other back and forth. Didn't know he was gonna send me a package. And so Taylor's looking like, then Jeremiah had called right before that too. So before she even got the package, she talked to Jeremiah. He finally called her and basically was like, "Hey, I just want to let you know I'm good." And she was like, "Yeah, I'm good too, I guess." They both on the verge of crying, and um I don't think they're over each other. I just think that maybe they're starting to accept that they're over, and just realize that, maybe them being together isn't the best. At least not right now, and that they both just have to find each other. Not find each other, but like, find themselves um separately. Separately. So, you know, then like I said, after that, Conrad's package shows up, and Taylor is basically asking Belly like, "Hey, well, why haven't you, dated, or I haven't heard of anything." And so sorry y'all, I can't get comfortable. Um so she tells her well, I'm just I'm not scared of getting hurt. I'm scared of hurting somebody, because I think she puts a lot of that guilt on her for the way that her and Jeremiah split up, and I think it's also brought her back to when her and Conrad split up, and I think she's really just overthinking everything. Oh, what? Oh, okay. Um, so that's that, and so she's scared of hurting someone, and Taylor's basically like, "Girl, it's gonna happen, but it might not happen." And so she's like, "You just got to do it. Sometimes you just got to do it, and having a rebound is part of the healing process." So I guess that gives her some courage, and so they end up going out back out to the party, and everybody's counting down because it's almost that time. And so she basically like storms up to Benito and grabs him like just, and then and plants one on him. So she kisses him. That's her New Year's kiss. And Taylor's kind of looking like, there you go, girl. You see, I told you, girl. She's just off in the corner, just with her drink. Anyways, so that's where we are. And like I said, this episode seemed like a little long. Oh, it is. It's 72 minutes. I mean, shit, that's only about 10 minutes longer than the rest of them. 12. 12 minutes. Okay, anyway. Let's see what else happens. I still got a minute. I still got a few. Damn, how long I got left? This is a kind of a longer episode now that I'm looking at it. Oh my goodness, she in bed with him. Why she look so awkward? I'm dead. I got 22 minutes left on the episode, y'all. Okay, so and Jeremiah and Conrad made up, and I think Jeremiah basically is telling him like he understands, but he just hopes that he understands him as well. They both were really in love with her. And then Jeremiah kind of gives his blessing for Conrad to do what he needs to do with about 60% support. Anyways, so they make up, and Conrad sends another letter to Belly. Um, and so they made up on the anniversary of Susanna's death, right? They both visited the grave. So Belly actually forgot for a minute that it was the day, because she's talking to her mom. She's telling her mom, like, hey, I think I may want to stay. My friend just offered me her apartment. It's a year lease, so I would be here for like another year. I just don't think I'm done here yet. And then while she's talking to her mom, she realizes what day it is. But Laurel's like, I can see that you're happy and I hear it in your voice, just stay. It's fine. So she moves into the apartment. It was one of the girls, the girl who's dating that other girl. I forget her name. So she's moving in with her. So she's like, "Ooh, I'd hate for this apartment to go to waste. You could totally stay here." So Belly ends up going on, and so she's moving in to her apartment towards the end of the episode. Benito's there, and so then she, I guess, was gonna go back home for the summer, but now that she's moved in, she's not gonna do that. Um, so Benito is from Mexico. I told you. He says, so I thought he was from London. No, he has friends in London that he was going to go visit during Christmas, but it fell through or whatever. So I misheard that. But yeah, he's from Mexico. So he's like trying to get Belly to go down to Mexico with him to go visit his grandmother and kind of show her where he grew up at and stuff. And so she's a little hesitant about it, but I think she's gonna go. She might. Well, maybe, because it's also at the end of the episode, um, Conrad is talking to that girlfriend of his that went to school with him, the ginger, um, Anyways, so she shows up to his apartment and he's like, oh, well, she finally, wrote me back. And then she also sent me this postcard or whatever. And um, so she reads it and basically kind of, he had got this invitation to go to Brussels, which she points out is about an hour and a half train ride from Paris. So she's like, oh, so that's why you going. And so he's like, trying not to make it seem like, yeah, that's why it is. But he goes to the airport ready to take off for this thing, and instead changes his flight to Brussels, from Brussels to Paris. And they talking about some $473 difference in price, which means it's a higher price ticket. And Conrad's just like, yeah, that's okay. Like, it's not a big deal. $500, basically, with fees and taxes. Anyways, so they show him on a plane getting ready to go to Paris. He gonna go see her. He gonna try. He gonna shoot his shot, honey. Um, and so Belly like had also said in the letter, like, oh, no, she didn't say in the letter. She goes to the hair salon, and I guess she's switching up her hair, and she's switching up her hair. She says, I'm ready for something new this summer. But she don't know that Conrad's coming. She gonna look, it. She just gonna be staring. She gonna do it. Soon as he show up, he gonna show up all, how they like to glow the light on him as he's walking, you know, walking into the scene, and with his face, and she just gonna be. So anyway, so I'm excited to see the conclusion of season 3, the final season of The Summer I Turned Pretty. We will be back next week for the final episode 11, season 3, The Summer I Turned Pretty. If you've been following, I greatly appreciate it. I'm glad that y'all sit here and listen to me talk. I was once very shy to do this kind of stuff, and I said, let me stop being shy, because how else am I going to get my name out there? It don't even have to be that I get to 1 million followers or whatever. I doubt that's going to happen, but it is kind of cool seeing that I got a few subscribers, and you guys sit here and listen to me talk, and you know what, I am honored. So thank you. And if you're new here, thanks for watching. If you made it this far, I appreciate it. Please like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next week for the series finale of The Summer I Turned Pretty.